AIG Ireland announced its 5 new ambassadors for their summer sponsorship campaign yesterday, calling for times like these, which focuses on the times, lives and sporting experiences of our star LGFA players. The new campaign continues to promote the AIG's Effort is Equal message, with a new series of videos focusing on each of the AIG ambassadors and their stories. The 5 ambassadors who will feature in the new campaign are Lauren McGee of Dublin, Catherine Sullivan of Mayo, Aisling O'Connell of Kerry, Amy Mackin of Armagh, and of course Vikki Wall from Meath. In addition, AIG also announced their LGFA member and player car insurance offer of 25% off for players and 15% off for all members across the country at www.aig.ie/LGFA. And we're delighted to be joined on OTB AM this morning by Vikki Wall herself. Vikki, very good morning.
Morning, how are we?
Keeping well, Vikki, keeping very well. Big week for you. We have the confirmation of your move down under. North Melbourne, the lucky ones to grab your signature once this season ends. But was that an easy decision to make? I know you had plenty of suitors down under, but finally you've come to your decision.
Yeah, I've come to my decision. I suppose there definitely was a few things I had to weigh out. Kind of even prior to even never mind choosing a club. It was just a decision. I suppose it's not the easiest thing to leave Meath when it's going well, but I suppose it's an opportunity that I kind of couldn't pass up, and I'm looking forward to a new challenge as such.
Is it nice to have Erica O'Shea? I know she's heading to the same club down in Australia as well. It might be nice to have some Irish company and girls you can immediately gel with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to have someone kind of in a similar scenario to you, and I suppose there's a lot of Irish over there now at the moment, and a few I kind of would have been in college with and stuff like that as well. So I suppose I think everyone's been great so far, and being there if you have any questions and stuff like that. So I've no doubt that will kind of continue over there regardless if they're playing for different clubs and stuff like that.
Am I right in saying you were last in Australia in 2019? I know you were over for that AFLW combine a few years ago, but with everything that's happened since with COVID, etc., you mightn't have had the chance to go back over. But it's quite hard to believe what's happened in the interim, because since then you've been named intermediate and senior ladies footballer of the year. You've got a couple of All-Irelands in those levels as well. So even since that combine in 2019, it's been a bit of a whirlwind for you.
Yeah, absolutely has. And I suppose even that 2019 combine was a bit of a whirlwind. I was only there for 4 days. I had to fly back for a county final, so that was a bit of a strange one as well. I don't think I saw much of Melbourne other than the actual stadiums and stuff like that we were kind of going to. So I hope I'll get to see a bit more when I'm over there now. But it has been a whirlwind. But I suppose it's been great for me and great for my club Dunboyne as well.
Is it a seamless transition, Vikki, or do you have to how much work do you need to put in?
No, I wouldn't say it's a seamless transition. I know Mike Curran, who's over here at the AFL, he kind of does some skill sessions and stuff like that as well. But I've no doubt it'll be a bit of a shock to the system when I first go over. But I suppose that's kind of half the exciting part, is that you're kind of learning new skills the entire time.
And how big is it over there?
In terms of the game itself?
Yeah,
I think it's growing. I think it's similar to ladies football over here. I think, there's more traction, there's more visibility of it, there's more people playing it. I know initially when I went over in 2019, I think they're kind of highlighting the fact that they mightn't have had a huge amount of football structures for girls past the age of kind of 14, 15, whereas that's not the case now. So they kind of have an influx of people coming in, of younger girls coming up now that have actually got to play it from a young age and have been supported the whole way up. So I suppose it's interesting in that sense of, it's definitely getting bigger over there as well.
And is the likes of Orla O'Dwyer, is she an inspiration to the likes of you to go over there and kind of see how it translates?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose, you see any of the Irish girls that are doing well over there, you obviously want to go over and, do well. You don't want to be going to go over just for the sake of being in a different country, that kind of way. I think regardless of anyone that goes over, they want to still be, playing well and playing even and improving themselves.
I know I've spoken to you before, Vikki, about Eamon Murray's comments. I know you're best friends with your Meath manager Eamon Murray now since, but the comments at the time were quite funny. He was saying, I'd say we're losing Vikki now in September, and I don't know how many more we'll lose. I don't know why you'd want to play that sport, because it's dreadful stuff to watch. I can't understand it. There's no skill at all. So, but you've obviously kissed and made up with Eamon since.
I think poor Eamon now, I think he's got a fair bit of abuse for that one, so he didn't get any more from me anyway, put it that way. But no, look, Eamon's really supportive of me going over, and he wants us to see us doing well regardless of what it is. So no, he's delighted for me.
We just when a team looks for a player from Ireland, like is it sort of stats based? What do they look for? Is it like all the attributes? Is it particular athleticism? What attracts them to a player like you?
I don't know. I think even all of the players going over, there's very different attributes that we all have, but you can kind of, it's different positions to be looking at as well. But I think just in terms of general fitness and stuff like that, it's like it was a 2.4k kind of run and stuff that they kind of do, and just different kind of fitness tests as well, and then just I suppose skill sessions in relation to Mike was able to get a bit of footage and stuff like that, so you can send it over to them. So they know you can at least handle the ball and stuff like that as well. They don't expect the highest of they don't expect it to be going over with perfect ball skills, but obviously you have to have kind of some understanding.
Like, do you take almost motivation sometimes, Vikki, from a lot of people when the Irish players started going over to Australia to play in the AFLW, people were saying, it's going to be tough to kind of gel into this sport. There's a lot of new skills to learn. But like, I remember reading quotes from you even before the All-Ireland final win for Meath last year, talking about you taking motivation from people doubting you and doubting the team. Like, will it be kind of similar for you and Oz? Like, it's almost like a new challenge for you to kind of rise up and exceed expectations almost?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose I don't know if it's kind of an external thing of to the same extent of proving to doubters, that kind of way, but it's definitely to myself anyway, of being able to be adaptable and stuff like that as a sports person is something that I think is a term that's thrown around quite a lot. So I suppose I'll definitely be testing that of myself, and I suppose it's kind of, for me anyway, interesting to see how I'm going to get on.
I know you've been doing I think it was the digital marketing masters in DCU. Is that on the back burner now, or obviously when you're heading to Oz it has to go on the back burner, but is that something you'll consider coming back to in a number of years? I guess it's take it as it goes in Australia. Yeah,
I suppose it is, take it as it goes. I suppose I'll be doing a bit of work with the club themselves, actually, in the digital marketing kind of department and stuff. So I suppose it's not like putting everything else on hold just to kind of pursue sport. So that's kind of a nice balance as well.
Like, I remember reading different times, Vikki, and I remember speaking to you before about celebrating the big moments, and that win for me in the All-Ireland last year, of which you were a major part, was huge. And I remember you talking about KPAC, the Meath sponsors organising a celebratory night, and I remember you speaking to people like Trevor Giles, who told you to enjoy it as long as you can, because you never know when you'll win another. Are you glad now, looking back, especially with Australia on the horizon, that at the time yourself and your Meath teammates really enjoyed that win and kind of took it all in? Because sometimes these wins can bypass players. They wait all their lives for an All-Ireland, and then when it happens it almost feels anticlimactic. But I feel like that wasn't the case for yourself.
Definitely wasn't anticlimactic at all, and we definitely did enjoy the celebrations and everything that came with it. But yeah, I think it's definitely just even after last year, I definitely think I'm just appreciating Meath football more, and I suppose the position we're in, how privileged we are. I think you can see in ladies football how quickly things can change, and we've been in that position as well. So I think we're kind of conscious of that and enjoying how we're going at the moment.
I know you're a St Peter's Dunboyne woman as well, and like, speaking to Sean Boylan, a fellow Dunboyne man, recently, and like, the aura Sean has, everyone knows is quite incredible, and he's an esteemed figure in this country for a number of reasons. But for yourself, as someone from the same club as Sean, I'm sure he was someone you held in great esteem growing up as a kid, and he was probably almost this mythical figure of sorts in the town.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And even, any time we kind of come across him, or you've gone up to him to help you sort something out the day before a game, you could easily be there for an hour, and there's never any lack of knowledge or storytelling, which, is something you always take in. So I suppose any time you get to spend with him is good. And, he even kind of, just about even the move to Australia, he was telling me to enjoy it and make the most of it and everything like that. So he's definitely someone that we definitely all value in Dunboyne, and I think around the country.
I'd actually advise anyone who hasn't read it. Arthur Sullivan, who was a friend of mine, he used to work with, he did an article about Sean in the a Legend series in the GAA website. It goes back now to 2015, where Sean's dad was actually like a very, very key figure in the War of Independence. His dad had him when he was quite old in life. So Sean is like one generation from the start of the state, effectively, like right. Brigadier General Sean Boylan. That was his father, and he was named after him. It's an amazing piece, and Sean, he's just what a personality, what a character, and Yeah, you'll have fewer better inspirations, I guess, Vikki.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's never any lack of inspiration when you're talking to him. He's a phenomenal man.
He didn't have you up doing laps as a hill of tower like the lads back in the day?
Not quite. We haven't seen that yet, but I'm sure it could be in the pipeline.
It's funny, like Sean was in charge of international rules teams that had serious hacking jobs against Australia. Some of those battles in Croke Park and down under as well. I mean, just battering into each other across the course of a few tests. Like, is that something that the physicality, Vikki, that you're looking forward to, that you're kind of, I'm not going to say you're dreading it because of course you're not, but it's certainly another aspect of the game that kind of differentiates it from Gaelic football in some ways?
Yeah, no, it does. I think I'm looking forward to it. I think, in the game, in ladies football at the moment, it's still technically a non-contact sport, but sure, that's not true at all. But I think, even there's probably is a bit of a drive and a bit of a want for the physicality to increase and, to be able to utilise all the efforts we're putting into strength and conditioning. So I suppose when you're going over there, you're expecting it, it's allowed. You're kind of getting used to it, but I'm sure that will even take time for me to adapt to as well.
Like, it's funny, that adaptation to the sport, like for a lot of players, it seems to happen quite quickly. Are people like Cora Staunton, or is your plan to kind of approach them as well? And maybe you already have. Like, have you got on to Cora and players who have been established over there in Australia and kind of got some words of wisdom from them as well?
Yeah, definitely. I've been in touch with a good few of the girls that are over in Australia now at this stage, just even, whether it's general questions or just about, the game itself. So everyone's been really, really helpful. And I was on to Cora and she's been a serious help already, yeah.
Like, just when I mentioned Dunboyne there, Vikki, I'm thinking back to the All-Ireland Club final last year and, stopping Foxroy Cabinteely from winning that 7 in a row. And I know you had the All-Ireland with Meath as well, but you hear a lot of players who've managed to be lucky enough to win a Club All-Ireland and a Intercounty All-Ireland as well, talking about how the Club one feels different. It must have been quite special to win an All-Ireland with girls who, you've grown up playing alongside from under sevens upwards. It's probably a different feeling to the win with Meath. Yeah,
it definitely is. I suppose we probably had a somewhat, I wouldn't say overly similar, but there's definitely some comparisons in Dunboyne. Our team disbanded in 2014, or we came back together, in 2014 after a lot of people were kind of travelling and studying abroad and everything like that, and people would have had to transfer to local different clubs. And then we started in junior in 2014 and we ended up winning a junior All-Ireland in 2015 and intermediate in 2017. So it kind of was that rise as well and that kind of journey and such like that. So from 2015, 2017, all of our All-Ireland games were away, so we would have spent a significant amount of time with each other on buses every single weekend. So, like it or not, we were forced to get to know each other extremely well, and I think that kind of stood to us. And, just even our first All-Ireland in 2015 was in Limerick, and I remember it was the worst day ever. Our supporters bus was about 10 or 15 minutes late, so we do have all those memories together. So like you said, it was just winning with people you've been playing with since under 12 and everything like that. Just it's kind of something you can't really describe, and when it kind of works out, it's an unbelievable feeling.
What can other counties and even clubs, I guess, learn from the Meath story, like clubs and counties that have just been sort of maybe in the doldrums and are finding it hard? Like, it's got to be some sort of an inspiration. What did you guys do to turn it into this almost overnight success? I know it wasn't an overnight success, but it's and like the lift it gave the county as well when you won the All-Ireland.
I think it's definitely been a mixture of things. I think we are lucky that regardless of, we did have a lot of chopping and changing of a panel, but we kind of kept a core group of enough people there, I think, to kind of continually drive things in Meath. And then I think once we had that foundation of a group still there and got management involved that both had the same kind of want and desire. And I think Paul is originally, our coach is originally from Oldcastle-Meath. Now he's a Baltimore man in Wicklow now, but I think maybe his even understanding of the potential that was in the group, and I suppose our own understanding, was something that we were able to draw on and kind of motivate each other in different ways. So I don't know is the perfect answer or honest answer, but I think it was a mix of a lot of things and maybe not just one big thing.
You need somebody to say to you, like, essentially, I believe in you, and once you start seeing that, well, if he believes in us and, you can see the progress there in front of you, I guess you start thinking that you're on a journey here.
Yeah, I think even learning to win. I think we knew how to lose. We knew how to, in tight games, there would be 10 minutes to go and we could be a few points up, and we knew exactly what to do to lose because we kept doing it. We'd give away a few kickouts and we'd do things that were just out of the ordinary. So then kind of once or twice when you're in those scenarios, and you kind of learn how to get a match across the line, and just like small little learnings. And then as a group, collectively, as everyone else kind of, as like the entire panel starts to learn those scenarios, I think it kind of weighs out, and then it kind of, you know, it definitely doesn't become like second nature, but as in you just have an awareness of it, and that kind of, you know, you can feel momentum shifts a bit more, I think, and kind of game management, I think, as well.
Can I just ask you a final one, Vikki? Something that cropped up last week, and we had Andy McEntee in studio on the show last week, the now former Meath manager, and he was talking about the levels of abuse on social media, letters to the house he was getting as well from people, I guess, in Meath and maybe outside as well, who knows. And I saw the tweet, and I saw you retweeted it yourself. And Shane McEntee, Andy's son, is someone, you know, I actually went to college with Shane, and you know, you can kind of empathise with this sort of thing. He was talking about the letters to the house and the abuse, you know, Andy might have been getting for picking Shane on the panel, his own son, even though Shane was clearly there on merit. And even last Saturday we had a panel on Off the Ball, John Duggan presented, on this culture of social media abuse of sports people, and the issue of you know, being on a platform where you have to nearly take this abuse, and even from the stands taking abuse during games as well. I just want to gather your thoughts on that, and maybe have you had any experiences of that sort of thing yourself, whether it be online, in person? I'm sure it's not easy, you know, and you probably see it happening to teammates as well. It seems to be fairly rife at the minute, unfortunately. Yeah,
I think it is, and I think maybe social media maybe is more right for the men's side of things in terms of the abuse. And I think, you know, like you said, like I think anybody that knows football and Meath can 100% say the Shane's there in merit. So I think, you know, like it's something that maybe, like, as in, I don't know how to stop it, but I think, you know, the level of abuse that they were getting was just like, it's just disgraceful, to be honest. But in terms of ladies football, I suppose we do see a bit of it online. I suppose just even, you know, Instagram and stuff like that. I think everyone's very accessible, so it's easy to send a message after a game, after a win or a loss. And I suppose part of sport, you know, you always hear things from the sideline as well. I don't know how to clamp down on it more. I suppose verification of people online is probably something to go, because I think it tends to always be people that have no profile picture and no followers and everything like that. I think it's very easy to you know, make an account and with a fake name and things like that and hide behind it. I think, you know, it's kind of the times we're in that people seem to continuously be doing that.
Just get, yeah, Elon Musk is on your wavelength there, I think, or allegedly so anyway.
Yeah, hopefully it improves and social media companies get their act together. Listen, Vikki, it's been great chatting to you this morning. No doubt we'll catch up with you between now and Oz. And listen, best of luck with the rest of the season with Meath.
Thanks so much. Thanks a million.